Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very interesting story, and it's disheartening as well as frightening and also just intriguing. The nonsense here, the absurdity, is that because of Trump's personality, despite the fact that he's created more jobs in a 3-year span than any 3-year span of President Obama's administration. So you can just go thebalance.com, which president created the most jobs. Type in President Obama created 8.9 million jobs by the end of December 2016. Okay, 8.9 million jobs. If you look at Trump, in just from President Trump from 2017 until this article was written in the beginning, February of 2019, he created 4.7 million jobs. Now, if they want to adjust that, because there was a 500,000 job, there was an adjustment to 500,000, so 4.2 million jobs in just 2 years. Okay? 4.2 million in just 2 years. He's approaching half of what President Obama did in 8 years in just 2 years. There's a 3.7% unemployment still. And this is going into the 2020 election cycle. He's the first president to step foot in North Korea. There's 500,000 manufacturing jobs created. Wages have increased. So, President Trump is signed the First Step Act, which is very important. So he's done all these great things, and yet there's this frightening new spin that he's not well in the head. There's something wrong with him. They've taken these psychological and mental type of these accusations regarding Trump's psyche, his mental state. First, it was Rod Rosenstein with the 25th Amendment, but even before then, they rehearse, they constantly utilize the same type of tired propaganda. They don't get enough of it. They don't get enough of it. So, Trump is not well. Accepting the reality about the president's disordered personality is important, even essential. Okay, this is The Atlantic. Are you trying to tell me that the person that 65 million people voted for, she got the popular vote? Which I don't know how the Russians interfered if she got the popular vote, but let's continue. You mean saying that she survived Bosnian sniper fire is a good thing? That means you're the picture of mental health? Really? What would the people of Haiti or Libya or Honduras or places throughout the Middle East and throughout the world, what would they think of Madam Secretary's brain or wisdom or psyche? Or personality. But let's continue. During the 2016 campaign, so this is an article written, Trump is not well. So they want you to believe he's not well, people. This is the same thing this is the type of thing that they used. They're rehashing and recycling the same accusations. They called him a bigot. Now then they said he's not well in the head. And then they said he's a threat to humanity. All of these things that they said in 2015 that didn't work, they're continuing. And the way they see it is that, look, in 2016 we cheated Bernie Sanders. We successfully blamed another country under the belief that, corrupt intelligence officials like Comey, Strzok, Clapper, McCabe, Brennan, and McCabe's going to get indicted any day now. They said that the Russians wanted to swing the election because they didn't get enough U.S. uranium from President Obama's administration. President Obama's administration was so tough on Russia that he refused to veto the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. And, oh, by the way, it was just a coincidence that money flowed to the Clinton Foundation amid the Russian uranium deal. That was a coincidence, just like it was a coincidence that $156 million went into the Clinton Foundation. The 85 people who gave that money happened to miraculously meet Clinton. You're talking about a failed presidential candidate who is going to run again in 2020. Clinton's going to be the Democratic nominee and lose again to Trump. And then you're talking about the mind of a person who blames everyone else but herself for her failures. Okay? When's the last time that Trump blamed another country for his failures? Democrats do that daily. But let's continue. So I kind of gave you a long preface, but here, during the 2016 campaign, this is an article from The Atlantic. And it kind of shows you the mentality of an establishment figure, or the establishment, both left and right, looking at Trump. During the 2016 campaign, I received a phone call from an influential political journalist and author who was soliciting my thoughts on Donald Trump. Trump's rise in the Republican Party was still something of a shock, and he wanted to know the things I felt he should keep in mind as he went about the task of covering Trump. And just look, I mean, this is like the mainstream Democratic Party narrative, but it's also adopted by never-Trumpers. At the top of my list, talk to psychologists and psychiatrists about the state of Trump's mental health. What psychiatrist or psychologist? A psychiatrist or psychologist should never practice again if they evaluate a person from media reports. If you evaluate a person from his or her persona, her image portrayed to the media, you should never again work as a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Ever. Ever. Psychologists and psychiatrists, if they're going to evaluate people, have to actually know the person they're evaluating. This is a very dangerous and very frightening tool the left is using. I think he's unwell. This could be used against anyone in any office, in any business, in any place of work in the country. I think Bill is unwell. Did you see? He was eating a Subway sandwich with too much ketchup. In fact, he put ketchup on a Subway sandwich. Who does that? I think he's unwell. You can look at anyone's behavior too closely if they just have a unique personality, if they're boisterous, or if they're just a little bit different from the crowd. Trump is different from the crowd, and it's okay to be different. Okay, the Ramones were different. It's okay to be different. And in fact, if you're unique or if you have a personality that isn't the mainstream personality, I love Trump's personality. I think sometimes he gets into it a little bit too much. I think he should not go after women, okay? But, like in the verbal sparring battles, but that's his personality. I actually like most of his personality. I think he's hilarious. He's a boisterous, New York, brash billionaire who says it like it is. And there's no, he doesn't speak like a politician. When Clinton speaks, when she says, I'm not running, she's running. That's why when people say to me, how come she said she wasn't running? Yeah. Try to delve into that mental quagmire. But anyway, let's continue. This is interesting. So, I mean, I had to preface this because it's really important, and it bothers me because they go after Trump. You don't think they're going to go after you or me or anyone else? They go after Trump's personality. You're next. I'm next. Everyone else is next who doesn't fit the liberal/conservative establishment standard of, well, we had to save the people of Libya by ensuring the country was destroyed. Oopsie! NATO intervention didn't work. At least it was for the best. We tried our best. Give me 5, establishment Republican. That's the way the Republicans and Democrats think. They engage in the most heinous behavior as long as they present it in a palatable manner. It's fine. But let's continue. At the top of my list, talk to psychologists and psychiatrists about the state of Trump's mental health, since I considered that to be the most important thing when it comes to understanding him. It was Trump's Rosetta Stone. These are the people who never thought Trump would win. These are the people who can't understand why anyone votes for Trump. And then they have the audacity to talk about Trump's Rosetta Stone. Trump's Rosetta Stone is the fact we have 3.7% unemployment. His Rosetta Stone is the fact he's the first president to step foot in North Korea and begin begin détente, begin the origins of the beginning of a peace process between North and South Korea. And it's just unbelievable how he took us out of the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been horrendous. He's addressing the $400+ billion trade deficit with China, and the intellectual property theft, and the dumping, and the currency manipulation, before the deficit gets to $1 trillion between China and the U.S., and by 2050, they will be the world's #1 economy by far, and they won't have any incentive to sit down and talk with anyone about a trade deficit or anything. They'll have zero incentive. Why would they? Why would they have any incentive at all to talk about a trade deficit when it's $1 trillion? But let's continue. So then he goes on to say that, okay, Donald Trump's disordered personality, his unhealthy pattern of thinking. Who are you to decide what's unhealthy or what's healthy? He won the presidency. He is president of the United States of America. By every standard of measurement, by almost every statistic, the economy is doing well. Almost every. Okay, and if you want to point to things here and there that aren't doing well in the economy, they were worse under President Obama's watch and tenure. I don't think the author would want to eviscerate Obama's personality, but Donald Trump's disordered personality, his unhealthy pattern of thinking. That's exactly the pattern of thinking we need in a president. We need somebody who is going to impose tariffs on China now, before they become too great of an economy to even possibly deal with. Trump is the first president not to care what media thinks, and that's why media thinks that he has a mental issue. His personality is partly a shtick and partly media manipulation, and then partly his personality. They don't get that. Functioning and behaving has become the defining characteristic of his presidency. No, it has not. His personality is the defining characteristic of his presidency to people who never imagined he would become president. To everyone else, a great economy, Max Boot and Bill Kristol. If you take the three personalities, if you take the personality of somebody who's an interventionist, somebody who always defends military intervention, I'd rather have Trump's personality. He's an anti-interventionist. He wants to bring home American soldiers. That's a very good thing. That shows a very healthy personality in my book. Okay, so they place more emphasis on tweets than anything else, but Donald Trump's disordered personality, his unhealthy pattern of thinking, functioning, and behaving, has become the defining characteristic of his presidency. No, it has not. It manifests itself in multiple ways. His extreme narcissism. Okay, why don't you come back to me when you vote for Clinton and lose again in 2020? His addiction to lying. The New York Times wrote an article, Why Hillary Needs to Be Two-Faced. Literally saying she needs to lie, and it's a good thing. About things small and large and small. No, he didn't lie about not knowing his own Secretary of State had private servers for 4 years. Sorry. Including his finances and bullying and silencing of those who could expose him. Yeah, that was Comey's, Comey wrote that Trump said this and that, and we have no clue if Comey's memos are accurate, but they were used as a political validation for a special counsel that should never have been started, because there was never any. James Clapper, 2 months before the special counsel, stated there was no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, and the IG report already exposed Comey, and McCabe's going to get indicted, and now we're going to find out exactly why they used a dossier purchased by Clinton to start everything. Read my articles in The Federalist, especially the one that was shared by Rush Limbaugh twice, regarding how all of this is linked to Clinton. You have people who, behind the scenes, from the Steele dossier to CrowdStrike being outsourced by the Democratic Party to Alexander Downer being linked to Clinton, it's like they think that if they just hide behind protocol, that everything is above board, but they don't realize there's 18 U.S. Code 371, which is a statute that talks about if you defraud the U.S. government, you're going to jail, which is what they did. And I explained that in one of my Federalist articles. His detachment from reality, including denying things he said even when there is video evidence to the contrary. Again, he never stated he survived Bosnian sniper fire, or that he used private servers for yoga emails, or that he used servers outside the United States government for convenience. Okay? Clinton, by the way, when I was on the left and I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post, Clinton was notorious, and she will be notorious again, because she's running again. See? Got the Hillary 2020 right there. I say that every segment. She was notorious for evolving, which in Clinton speak meant just picking a course or policy objective that was only for political utility. The picking the course of action that helped her only for politics, not for any value system. And everyone was like, you know what? That's really smart. That's really smart. It's like, what? Stand for something, my God. But anyway, his extreme narcissism, yes, what is. Okay, his detachment from reality, he's firmly planted within reality. Look at the economy. Look at foreign policy, much better than President Obama's. Including, okay, so his affinity for, here we go, for theories, yes, conspiratorial. Trump didn't work with Russia. Here we go. One hallmark of establishment figures when they write these articles is that they accuse Trump of what they're guilty of engaging in. So these are the same people who believe that Trump worked with Russia to buy Facebook ads to give Clinton the popular vote. What? How'd she get the popular vote if Facebook ads were purchased by Trump and the Steele dossier said he likes to get bodily fluids raining down upon him? They believe these conspiratorial nonsense that he worked with Russia to cheat Clinton when there's not one article the last 3 months. You can search for every single, the Atlantic, the publication I'm reading now, or any pollster, not one person a week before, a day before, a month before, 3 months before said that Clinton would lose because of Facebook ads or because of the DNC hack, which we have no clue if it was hacked because the ODNI and DHS reports come with warranty disclaimers. They're not certain it was hacked, and they're only confident. And these are the people judging Trump's mental health. They're the ones believing Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, who are the most obvious and overt liars. And they're like, oh my God. It manifests itself in Trump's impulsiveness and vindictiveness. Real vindictiveness? You voted for, yes, whataboutism. You must engage. People are like, whataboutism? It's called hypocrisy. His craving for adulation. Who doesn't crave adulation? Who doesn't want it? His misogyny. Bill Clinton, Al Franken, Justin Fairfax, Keith Ellison, Eric Schneiderman, Weinstein, let's see, Bill Clinton's best friend who's a billionaire. We can go on forever. His open admiration for brutal dictators. I do believe the Libyan leader met at the State Department or came. I mean, you could look at how many photos are there with Putin and Clinton, and cash flowed to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal, and yellow cake uranium was shipped out of the country. Gee, I wonder what happened with that. That was according to the New York Times. Everything I say is backed up by public record evidence within wonderful publications like the New York Times. His remorselessness. What? You mean the First Step Act is an example of remorselessness? He's literally reducing prison sentences because they were unfair. He's remorseless? His lack of empathy and sympathy? What? I mean, it's like, and then ridiculing a former POW. No, that was what Democrats did to McCain in 2008. You forget. But see, this thing, you have to bring up like the 2016 talking points all over again. And then he's deteriorating in plain sight. One Republican strategist who was in frequent contact with the White House. I love this. So the Democrats are like, well, even the Republicans can see it. No, you're two sides of the same coin. Don't you get it? No one believes when an article written by a publication, published by a publication that is a liberal publication, when they quote a Republican, it's not an example of objectivity. It's two sides of the same. You might as well just quote a Democratic operative. It's pretty much the same thing. Marco Rubio and Dianne Feinstein, they're not going to really disagree on much. Both of them were like, well, we just have to find out what took place with Russia. It's like, give me a break. Nobody saw these Facebook ads. Nobody. And you have to find out how many voters in swing states were altered by the fact that they found out that DNC cheated Bernie Sanders. These are the same people who cheat and then say that Trump is a problem. They're the ones who cheated Bernie Sanders. So he's deteriorating in plain sight. You should ask a psychiatrist about that. I'm not sure I'm qualified to comment. Yes. So all throughout the country, people are going to go ask psychologists and psychiatrists to evaluate people they don't like. Just based on videos of them. Isn't that interesting? Yes, that's true up to a point. Yet it is best to leave it to experts to determine whether Trump satisfies the criteria for a clinical diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and some combination of both. What do the Secret Service agents say about Clinton? What's been said about Clinton over the years? You want to go there? Both of them, both Clintons, not just Hillary. You're talking about Bill, who couldn't wait 8 years or 4 years. He had, the Oval Office, and he literally stated he never had sexual relations. So it's like, okay. You're talking about narcissism at a level that is far beyond Trump. But above all, accepting the truth about Trump's mental state will cause us to take more seriously that we have our democratic duty, which is to prevent a psychologically and morally unfit person from becoming president. Hello, he's going to win again. Not only is he going to win again, but everything that you're accusing him of, the Democrats embody and the establishment Republicans embody, because you thrust the country into nonsense from corrupt intelligence officials into a new Cold War because of Facebook ads. And you are talking about Trump's mental state. These are the same people who are like, they interfered in the election, but they won't explain how, they won't explain how many votes, and they won't even talk about the fact that the interference was allegedly Russia informing the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. So there you go. Meanwhile, you have Debbie Wasserman Schultz still working, still in Congress. I mean, you want to talk about the height of this bizarro kind of world where, mental states, aren't really functioning. Bernie Sanders hasn't even addressed the fact he was cheated. They make claim after claim, oh, Trump this, Trump that. They accused Trump for 3 years of working with the Kremlin. He didn't. They've never apologized to Trump. They've just doubled down and said, well, this investigation into you working with Putin, you obstructed it. It's like, well, they found nothing. There was no evidence. And by the way, they went after innocent people and said, oh, you lied to the FBI. And then they're like, oh my God, you can't go after McCabe. It's like, wait a second. You literally spent 3 years bragging and boasting about how someone lied to the FBI, and so therefore he should be sent to the gulag. But McCabe lies, and then it's okay. These are the people who believe in corrupt intelligence officials who spread the most absurd nonsense that's eaten up by the media. They're the ones who lost a monumental, catastrophic loss in the 2016 election. They couldn't deal with reality. They had to blame everyone else. They blame other countries for their failures. And they're the ones talking about mental states. Give me your thoughts below. And they cheated Bernie Sanders. Literally, the actual words that they wrote, whether it's 500 conflicts of interest at the Clinton Foundation, or, oh, let's see what we can do with the media to undermine Bernie. Literally, their own words are completely disregarded for Trump's personality. The fact that President Obama helped destroy countries, no, that's disregarded for Trump's personality. The fact that there's an overt pay-to-play scheme with cash flowing into the Clinton Foundation and continual beneficial treatment with UBS, Boeing, weapons deals, Haiti, Uranium One. We can go, this litany of, it's never ending. And they're like, oh, everything's a coincidence. They're the ones who should judge others in terms of mental state. And then you have personality. You think the Golden Moo-Moo's a peach? You think she's just this wonderful, ray of sunshine? Give me a break. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now for a even more amusing version of this segment. And it's just unbelievable how they have the audacity to do this, to say that. I can't believe this. Now you could literally have any person in any part of the country saying, gee, Bill, I don't think he's well. I think we need to fire him. How do I know? Because I got an evaluation. Because I snuck a psychologist into the office, and from afar, the psychologist looked at the way Bill writes and the way he's at his computer, and I think he was drinking boba, but he put some sugar in the boba. Who does that? Oh my God. Nobody puts saccharin in the boba. No. You know what I'm saying? He's out of it. He's out of it. He's not doing well. Okay? If you start putting saccharin in your boba drink, oh my God. You really have to go now. Okay? Okay, he's lost it. We're talking Looney Tunes. Okay? Fire Bill tomorrow. All right? Don't worry about the eventual lawsuit. Okay? Okay, good. Let's do it. That's what you're going to have. Any kind of personality that is a little bit brash. I mean, it's already bad enough that the emphasis on an accepted personality is such a huge thing in this day and age. You said something linked to a theory, and that theory is linked to something horrendous that took place in world history. So therefore, you are like the people who committed those atrocities. What? All I said was that the original Star Wars were better than the sequels. What are you talking about? That's what it's heading towards. And I can't even really go into it because I can get into it more on H.A. Goodman's other channel, so check that out. But they're going and they're trying to denigrate, President Trump. It ain't going to work. Because this has already been tried, people. They already tried to say that his mental state is something's wrong with him. Something's wrong with him. He said the presidency, something's wrong with him. They're deteriorating into a derangement syndrome regarding Trump. And they're the ones deteriorating. And they're not only are they deteriorating, but they're the ones who accuse Trump of everything they're guilty of, both in their brains and in their actions and their words and their psychological state. They obsess over his personality, ignore his achievements, and then they call him nuts. And then they would have you believe that Obama was the picture of serenity in his mind, and that Clinton, of all people, who's running again, will lose, and they will absolutely go bonkers when she loses again, which is hilarious. Clinton's running again, people. It's not going to be Warren, okay? And then you're going to see the picture of, this wonderful psychological state that they try to market. Give me your thoughts below. If you want to support my voice, my Patreon is below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. By the way, I'm very close to starting a new channel about sports, H.A. Goodman's new sports channel. Give me your thoughts below. Tell me what you think about that. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you.